thought for a second that the batteries on this ran out.
Because I'm nothing for that. Okay. We ready?
Yep.
All right. Prepare for trouble and make it double. I'm Scott. God damn it, Michael.
Excuse me. Take two.
Okay. Prepare for trouble and make it double. I'm Scott.
And I'm Michael. And welcome to Two Fat Beaches.
Where we're not on a beach, but we are PHA. T. Yes.
So for everybody, happy Black History Month. And happy upcoming Valentine's Day. We're not going to be bitter about it. For those who are able to enjoy Valentine's with a significant other, or if you're at that stage in life where you are celebrating with yourself, either way, it's valid. Love yourself, love your partner. So, in honor of both Black History and Valentine's Day, what we will be snacking on is the perfect man. He's sweet. I'll let you read it. I want you to read it.
He's sweet and decadently rich. Decadently?
That's why I wanted you to read it.
I'm just, decadent. So decadently rich. Just how a man ought to be. Not gendered candy.
Yes. Because, we love a good...
I would like to point out for the record that Michael purchased these.
I
did not purchase these.
I did. I saw these and I said, these are a must. This is controversial.
I should have cut these first.
But I'll just edit out this part of it.
Okay. Here we go.
But it was...
Okay. My God, this is... Okay. Oh, pretty. Actually, this would be... What's this called? Perfect Man? Yes, actually. All right. Look, he's...
So, I do want to point out that while he is a chocolate man, which a lot of black people don't like being called chocolate, just so y'all know, but he does certainly have a Eurocentric features, except for the nose.
Some of them, well...
I mean, I got a big nose. So does this thing. But everything else is very... No, I don't know. I don't know what type of nationality he is, but he ain't pure black.
Okay. Oh, and look, for all you feet people out there, he's got toes. I see you in the comments. You better work.
Well, I'm going to start with...
Oh,
clearly he wants...
For you all that I just mentioned.
And for me, clearly he wanted
head. It's very hard.
Clearly he wanted head, so... Oh, it is very hard.
Very hard.
He is the perfect man. Just melting in my mouth. Oh.
It's very sweet.
Very. Well, there goes my diabetes. The things I do for you fans.
We see the four of you.
Okay. There's a lot of hair.
That's why I started with the feet, because I was like, oh, there's not a lot here.
You got a lot of hair to give.
I read that on that bathroom stall bathroom.
Oh. Okay. So, welcome to this episode of What's in Your Cup. We had a lot of topics that we were trying to figure out what we wanted to talk about. So, we ended up taking out of a list of like 15. We picked 3 that we're going to do today because there's a general theme surrounding it. And our next one is going to cover another 3 that had a general theme around it. So this general theme is, it's kind of surrounding like representation when it comes to music and television, when it comes to male versus female, black versus white, queer versus straight, and all of that stuff. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So, what's in your cup?
Well, I think the first thing we have to address. Let's just get into it. Let's talk about the Grammys. They were this past week. Michael, you have the floor. Get ready, everyone.
There's not really much I can say. Congratulations, Beyonce, on your historic, you're just making history as the artist with the most Grammys, not just female artists,
but just most in general.
Artists in general. Yeah. I believe she also just got an award for the first female to have won over 1,000 awards in general. So congratulations on everything that you have accomplished. Congratulations on bringing the black and queer music to our ears, for representing us and representing the people that came before us. We thank you. Now, bitch should have won album of the year. That's what I'm going to say on that one, because, she was robbed. She was robbed. And if she wasn't going to win, I agree with everybody else. I don't know who the F Bad Bunny is. Okay, so
Bad Bunny. Oh.
So I'm sorry. I probably have heard their songs. Everybody knows when it comes to me, it's Beyonce or nobody, or Destiny's Child or nobody, or Kelly or Michelle or nobody. I don't really pay attention much, unless it's old school 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000 music. I'm not really all into what's going on now. But okay. Here's the point that I try to make with other people, because I'm everybody was wanting to say best album won, we get over it, and there's a lot of catalog that comes into that. The main thing that I want to point out is that night, three of her songs won multiple awards. Okay, 3 of her songs won multiple awards. Yet, she did not get Album of the Year. The math is not mathing for me. A lot of publications, important, respected publications, put out their 2022 favorite albums list. Guess who topped a vast majority of those best album of the year? Renaissance. Yet it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I wanted to say, I don't know, I'm stepping out of the Grammy things a little bit. They just had the International British Awards thing.
Oh, I think Brit Awards.
Yeah. And she won International Artist of the Year and Song of the Year. But Harry Styles took home Album of the Year in that one too.
At least that was a British award. And not saying that British people can't win Grammys. That's not what that one makes a little more sense, because the people who vote on it are, what? Yeah. But
I just found that hilarious. I mean, for all intents and purposes,
maybe we need to listen to this album.
And that's the thing. I didn't even know that he had an album out. But
no, I've never heard a song of his.
I respect the fact that Harry created what was a good album. I don't want to take away from his win initially. He did win it. Congratulations to him. But I think it was an unjust win, to the point where even what is her name? Never mind, I'll find Adele was over it.
Oh, that was the best picture, though. My new favorite reaction photo of her. And admittedly, I don't know if this is the reaction when he won, but there's just this reaction of her face bitch, can you fucking believe this, right? Great.
I mean,
Great.
isn't it the same one where... Okay, so I didn't watch the actual Grammys. I just got the updates and got everything I needed to
I
know
watched
from
clips.
TikTok.
I didn't have. I could care less, honestly, about a 4-hour award show. But I think it's interesting to talk about some of the ramifications.
Yeah. I think it was funny. I heard, or at least I think I saw, I'll make sure, Trevor Noah, when he got he was the one who was supposed to announce the album of the year.
Uh-huh.
And was so flabbergasted that he had somebody else read the name. If those clips match up, because we know how,
The internet
likes to
yeah.
make it seem like it was something else. So if it wasn't, just comment below and say, hey, that was for an entirely different clip. But for the way that it was brought to me, it was him going, and the album of the year is... You read that name?
Mariah Carey won. No.
But I mean, a lot of people were upset because there were people that were in the game, like Mary J. Blige and all that stuff, that got nominated. There were people who genuinely were putting out their best body of work. And in their eyes, the Harry Styles album was not his best album by far. And yet he was awarded the most coveted spot in all of music, the album of the year. When other artists such as Bad Bunny, Beyonce, and Adele, although I've been informed that this wasn't Adele's best body of work either, but...
No. Like, I kind of keep going back to, so, like, Beyonce's been nominated for this category 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first time she lost to Beck, which... Okay. The second one she lost to Taylor Swift. We know on this channel how I feel about Taylor Swift, so I assume that that was also not correct. The third one she lost to Adele. I kind of hate... I know that you're going to hate this. I actually kind of wish they would have tied. Because they were the best... I know. They were the best 2 respective albums, but they're so different it's hard to compare each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I understand, though, that one. But then this one, again... And again, I'm not dying in the Beehive Hill. Like, I'm not... It was her best album. It should have won. But again, like, I don't know.
What's even funnier is that if you talk to a lot of black folks, like, everybody's like, oh, everybody just need to get off Beyonce's like jock and all that stuff. If you talk to a vast majority, or look at a vast majority of people who are having commentary on this, they will even tell you they would have been happy if Bad Bunny had won.
Actually, yeah. I would have been, yeah.
So
it would have been it would have been, again, historic. It would have been a great moment. It was a good album. I think Bad Bunny is not quite as queerbaity as Harry Styles is.
Yeah.
He certainly does things where he's not doing... I don't know. We'll talk. We'll get there.
But it's just, once again, it's just one of those things where, once again, people were not upset. Like, the whole thing wasn't that Beyonce didn't win. It was the fact that if Beyonce didn't win, then the next favorite should have won would have been Bad Bunny, and people would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
It's the idea that this person who, in their eyes, gave this mediocre album, once again, these are not my words. I've not listened to the album, so I can't say whether it's mediocre. I'm getting this off of feedback that I'm getting, not just from black and queer people, but from white people who have also been like, yeah, that wasn't fair at all either. Because a lot of people don't like to critically think. We automatically jump on the bandwagon of, that's my favorite artist, they should have won everything. As much as I talk about Beyonce, I truly am not like that. He knows. I'll call out Beyonce when she's doing something. Like movies. But, like, there are awards that she did win that she should not have won because they were not the categories that music should have belonged to. Like, that was not an R&B album.
Yeah, that gets us to something, with the Grammys that I think is kind of weird is I guess I don't know, because I know, like, for acting awards, you submit your body of work to whatever academy, and then they decide the list of nominees based on what's been submitted. And I only know that because that blonde bitch from Grey's Anatomy didn't submit herself one year because she said she didn't think that her work was very good or something, and it was a whole thing. So I don't know if that's how the Grammys decide what songs and albums go into what categories, but having listened to like Renaissance, it's very hard to categorize because it's not all dance electronic, but it's not all pop, but it's not all R&B. So is it the artist and the record label that choose it? Is it somebody behind a desk saying, well, there's 5 dance songs, so it goes here? Is it... Because again, like, I don't necessarily... And then pop is such a weird thing because it's almost like a catch-all. Like, I don't know that I think of Sam Smith and Adele and Katy Perry and all those people sort of in the same genre, but pop catches all of them. You know what I mean? And also then why isn't pop Beyonce or Mary J. Blige, who, again, an actual queen on earth, who I don't know, did she win anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
I almost flipped this table.
Not that I'm aware of. It is one of those things where it's like, you're correct. What does constitute putting certain albums into certain thing? And for the longest time, a lot of the arguments and retaliation against the Grammys and other award show that is open to the public, that's not like a BET award show, is that typically for a black person, or I believe even Latinos and all that stuff, to be able to, when they put out a body of work, no matter what type of music it is, it'll always go into R&B.
Right.
R&B, your best R&B artist. Well, this wasn't an R&B album, but you're putting it under R&B just because I'm a black person. And that's one of the things behind the arguments with this win, because on one hand, everybody's saying Beyonce literally is the most awarded Grammy person in history. Why are we not satisfied with that? And it's because you are giving her all of these tiny accolades. Some of them don't even fit with what she was trying to do. Just to say, well, I know she didn't get the most coveted award, that she's been nominated for 4 times and she didn't get them all 4 times. But she's got all these other awards. Why are you not satisfied with those? Well, like I said, those are cute awards, and thank you for doing them. But if they're not for what you're just handing me an award like that. What does that make people look at me look like?
Yeah. I mean, I guess again, we really need to know, like, is there strategy behind it?
Man.
Like, is there strategy behind I'm more likely to win awards in R&B or dance, so I'm not going to I'm not going to submit for pop music? So, or, like, that's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I should have looked that up before then, but...
So, I mean, if you guys know in the audience, please
put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments and we'll definitely read it.
Yeah.
And make a comment about it on the next video. But I will say that I know that there was, apparently there was an article. Allegedly. We got this Wendy Williams right here. Allegedly.
This is all allegedly.
Allegedly. What are you doing the hands? Never watched a Wendy Williams show in my life, but I've seen enough clips. Allegedly. There were people who were actually on the voting committee that was saying things like, I didn't vote for certain albums because certain people have won already enough and they don't need to win anymore. Or, I don't listen to this type of... Like, apparently ABBA was something...
ABBA got a shit ton of nominations. I don't think that they should have won, but I would have fucking died if they would have won.
Baby. I mean, no, because you see what Bonnie Ray went through. Poor child. Poor woman. She definitely gave everybody something to talk about. I will tell you that much. When she won Song of the Year.
Did you see the clip of her face?
Yes.
That face of, like, first of all, like, holy shit, I won, and then, like, oh, fuck, I won.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really, some of her music is a little country-ish for me, but good for her. I mean, she's been in the game for decades and decades and decades. So good for her.
And she has done a lot for the, and like everybody that's defending her and all this stuff, pointing out all her, like, for people that are like, I don't know Bonnie Ray, blah blah blah, and people are getting angry, like, oh well, you should know about her because she done it. Well, number one, not everybody knows everybody in music,
yeah.
So calm the fuck down. But when it goes on once again, like, how did she win that? I know there were people that were saying, like, because there were older people that were voted, they don't really listen to the younger music, so they vote for what they know.
I thought artists voted.
No, the way that it is there's a panel of people that once you get inducted into voting for the Grammys, you're based there until you die.
Yeah.
And those are the people that vote. There's like 100 people or something that votes. So you have to actually do a bunch of, like, somebody went into had a whole big video, the process of becoming, because you had to win a Grammy or be nominated for a Grammy, know somebody who's already a part of the Grammy committee, and then there's like a whole process that goes into it. But once you get into it, you're now a voter, and it's anywhere from producers to actual singers and all of that stuff. I believe actual singers. No, it might not be actual singers.
No, you can be, because I read an article once that Mariah Carey, during the Daydream year, in One Sweet Days, she had like a fuck ton of nominations. She didn't win any. She was like 0 for 12, I think. She didn't win shit. Mm-hmm. And then they sort of said, well, they tend to vote for people who are in that academy. Mm-hmm. And because she wasn't, not a lot of people voted for her.
Yeah. And I will say, a vast majority, that's why apparently a lot of people didn't vote for Beyonce for Album of the Year, because she had already won enough. So, I mean, there's a lot of biasness and a lot of, racial undertones, ageisms, and all of that stuff that comes into play. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I mean, Beyonce doesn't give a shit. Like, she doesn't have to prove that she's the queen. Because, I'm sorry, I've not heard anything about Harry Styles. I've never even heard of the Bonnie Ray song that she won for. Mm-mm. But if I turn on a TikTok, Black, White, Latino, off in Africa and Asia, you see the Cuff It challenges. You hear the songs being played in clubs. Like, they have Club Renaissance all over the world. You see news station people doing the Cuff It dance. People at weddings doing the Cuff It challenge. People doing the rich. Like, she was a moment for a year. And she didn't put out near a video, didn't do near a concert, didn't do a near live show until she went to Dubai. To be able to do all of those things and create such a sound and a livelihood out of that, and then be nominated for a body of work that there's no visual or anything to like support it, bitch, that's queen money right there. That's queen thing.
And I don't know, maybe in certain groups, I mean, like you mentioned TikTok, and certainly like the Bonnie Raitt stands aren't probably going to be on TikTok. Just because it's a different subset of the population. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe if it's that there were so many albums that were not like nominated that it... You know how like there was that thing in politics where, I think it was 92, where Ross Perot didn't get the nomination, so he ran as an independent, and it wound up splitting. Mm-hmm. I wonder, I don't know, maybe if it was that there were so many people who were like diehard XYZ fans that it split. I don't know. The one thing we haven't talked about with the Grammys that we really need to is Viola Davis.
Ha! My EGOT queen.
You want to talk about the person of our generation?
There is just one other person that I would love to see get an EGOT that I think deserves it. Probably even more than Viola Davis. Can you think of who I'm thinking about? I'll give you a hint. Big wheels keep on turning.
Oh, Tina Turner?
No.
Oh, Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
Yes. Give her goddamn
give her what is that? She is the Beyonce of the acting world. What does the bitch got to do in order to get nominated? To win, to get her accolades? What does she need to do?
She's nominated this year for an Oscar.
Has she ever had an Oscar before? I don't think she's had an Oscar.
She hasn't won. She's been nominated, but she hasn't won.
She better get her. Oh, for Wakanda. For Wakanda.
Which would be real cool. One, because it's her. Two, because it's Black Panther movie. And three, because it's a Marvel movie. I think it would be cool if she won. If we can't nominate horror movies for whatever goddamn reason, then...
Give her flowers.
Give her, yeah.
But back to Viola Davis. Yes. I'm so happy for her. I am so proud of you to the point where I will not watch the Michelle Obama because I don't want to be tainted. I'm not going to watch it. I've seen too many clips and I said I don't know if I can do this. But everything else that I've ever watched you in has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
No skips.
None. Well, no skips of movies that I've seen because I don't know about that autobiography thing.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen
what?
The clips of that?
Clips of what? I mean, some of them, they looked fine. It was fine. Some of it was fine. The one clip I saw was fine.
All right, you better save our channel. Okay, I'll take the hate. I will take the hate. It's not so much that it's hate. It's just one of those things where your question is like, wait. Because you look at it and you're like, now I got to look at everything Michelle Obama ever done, and I'm like, I don't know. All I know is you deserve everything that you have gotten. You deserve your EGOT, and I can't wait to see more body of work that you do. So now that makes 3 black women now, because we're talking about doing Black History Month, so I can talk about the black women. So that's Whoopi, Jennifer Hudson, and her.
Yeah. Yeah, unless there's one that's really old that I can't think of.
I can't think of it.
But I don't think so, no. Because Oscar, there's not... Yeah, that's the one that...
And once again, I didn't even know that she did an audio book. Why did I know about these things? I don't hear about them in social media.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, audiobooks is kind of... No one really talks about them. Because also, do they come out... sometimes they don't come out when the book comes out. Mm-hmm. Or it depends on, your geography if it's out. Because I love a podcast. I mean, obviously... obviously, I love a podcast. The Podcussy, if you will. Love it.
I'm loving this man right now.
I know, right? I'm just slowly eating all the appendages until I get to the junk. So I would love an audiobook, but I don't, no one ever really talks about them. Maybe it's because I don't follow books. I don't read. I'm not literate. Well, I mean, I read, but I don't read books. I got other shit to do.
He can read, but he don't read.
I don't read. But if somebody reads to me, perfect world. Perfect world.
Yeah, you're a perfect man right there. Start a little mic in his mouth and play the audio books. You'll be good to go. Alrighty. So, do you have any final things to say about the Grammys?
No. Oh, good shout out to Lizzo.
Ha! It's about damn time. I don't know. That's all I know. I
again, her and Adele when Lizzo won. Such a... I was like, this is the friendship I'm here for. The two of them just getting drunk at the Grammys.
Mm-hmm. And it was again... Okay. I know I always talk about Beyonce, but I just want to point out, when Adele won for her album of the year...
Oh yeah, when she broke the Grammy and gave it to...
She was... Adele is one of the true Beehive members, because not only did when she won, she was like, This shouldn't have been my award. This should have been Beyonce's award.
Yeah.
She got pissed at the Grammys this past week. And then Lizzo got up there during her, when you are at that level where in someone else's acceptance speech, people are reaching out and talking about you.
Do you think it's awkward? Not for the person saying it, but do you think that it would be, because like if it were me and people were continuously like, oh my God, thank you for X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to draw attention to you, eventually I'd have that moment of like, okay, we get it. Like,
No, did you see Beyonce? They filmed her when she was doing that. She was like, "Oh,
she was
no,
like, thank you."
No, she was like, no, keep it about yourself.
Yeah,
I think Beyonce is a person who has learned early on in her career she don't want attention. She's at that age and that time in her life where she just wants to create music, put it out there, and then be left alone. That's it. That's all she wants in life. She doesn't care about, she'll come to awards if, whatever. And I believe the only reason she came to the awards this time was because I think they get told, some of them get told beforehand if they're going to win or something. Because she had some stuff pre-recorded. I'm so weird on how this whole process works. Because I think the only reason she came was because she knew that she was going to get the accolades for having the most Grammys, and it wouldn't look right if she got that accolade and wasn't in attendance. I believe she knew she knew she wasn't going to get Album of the Year because she knows, and pretty much after her last couple upsets, she kind of just knew that it's always going to be rigged against certain people and certain types of people, and so she kind of just said, "I don't care. I don't really care anymore," but she doesn't want to be acknowledged. Anytime if you notice in anything since the Kanye West situation, she's definitely been shy when people start talking about it. She's like, no, don't say anything. Because for her, and I'm assuming, this is an assumption, allegedly, she's one of those people where she understands that whenever her name is brought into something, it's going to become a big deal. Regardless of whether she says anything or whatever, if her name is dropped, it's going to become a big deal. She don't have to say shit. And all of a sudden, she ain't said nothing about these ticket prices for her concerts. And everybody's going off as if she said no. As if she came online and said, no, you're going to pay these prices for these tickets and that's it. She ain't said nothing. She don't have to say anything and her name is dropped. So that's why I think she's kind of every once she's don't ask me about nothing. Girl, are we at war yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Just wait on the news to hear we at war with somebody. So it was a good Grammy. Congratulations to all the winners. Who we wanted to win didn't win. Who we thought would never win won, and those who performances and things was great. Beautiful. It was definitely the talk of the town for a long while. It definitely did open up conversations moving forward in how we look at the Grammys and other award shows. So I'm very interested to see how this will play out over the next few years. Mm-hmm. You have any last words about the Grammys?
No, I think that we've now been talking about the Grammys and Beyonce for 35 minutes, so
okay,
that's my cap.
All right, let's get on something that I know that you were very interested in talking about. So recently, Billboard has put out a list of the
best 50 rappers of all time.
Now, before I knew about the whole 50 rappers, they had put out just the top 10 best male rappers, but they didn't have anything about the top female rappers. And then you said then they came out with just the top 50 rappers.
Just top 50 overall. In general. And this is very reminiscent of Rolling Stone Gate, where they talked about the best artists of all time or best singers of all time or something like that, and then they didn't include Celine Dion and Pink and a bunch of other people. Yeah. Very reminiscent of that. And Billboard is slightly more credible than Rolling Stone. I mean, it's literally their job to rank things. I mean, that's how we get number one albums. So 50 rappers, right? I wrote down the 6 women of 50 who showed up. At number 47, there was MC Light, which I'm actually really, I don't want to say surprised, but I guess surprised that, I don't know. I always liked her, but you don't hear many people talk about her anymore, I guess, is what I'll say.
She's a pioneer.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's a pioneer. She's like the Bonnie Ray. No, I'm serious. We laugh, but
No,
I'm serious.
Know,
like her, people
yeah.
like Queen Latifah and all them, they're the pioneers of the female rap game. Like, they were the ones who, in the 80s, you know, really had to go up against all the other men and bring their own uniqueness, to, you know, to the genre. So
yeah. So she's 47. 44, Queen Latifah.
ha! UNITY.
31, Lil' Kim.
I have issues with that one, but okay. Should have been way, way higher in the list. But
Oh, should have been way higher on the list.
Way higher.
We're going to get there. 30, Lauryn Hill.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
19, Missy Elliott.
Once again, way higher.
Should have been way higher. And then number 10, the highest rated female, according to Billboard. Number 10, Nicki Minaj.
So, I just want to, like, I would like to know, how was this ranking done? Was this ranking done purely on chart top, you know, features, chart tops? Is it strictly data, you know, or is this based on, you know, best lyricalist, you know, had the most influence when it comes to the genre?
Oh, I should say, it's Billboard and Vibe. It's not just Billboard. Apparently it's Billboard and
Okay.
Vibe. Editorial teams opted. Teams took into account body of work, achievements, cultural impact and influence, longevity, lyrics, and flow. So, some things very subjective.
Okay, so out of this whole list,
Yeah.
when it comes to flow, just to the females, I cannot deny that Nicki Minaj writes very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, her, you like her, Eminem, Jay-Z, and what's the one with the hair that she always, the little tiny one that had the dreadlocks? I can't remember his name. Lil Wayne.
Oh.
Lyrically, from what I have listened to of them, they write a lot of songs that does have a lot of deep meaning, and they do bring a lot of like stuff into it. I'm just like, oh, that's a word. I didn't know that's a word, and you can rhyme that word. And they're very good at that. Missy definitely. Maybe ain't nothing she could put. Ain't nothing she can't do no wrong in my eyes. No wrong in my eye. Lil' Kim, but she is the pioneering when it comes to I'm a bad bitch and that's all there is to it. You're gonna eat my pink tea and you're gonna like it when I rub it in your face. But at the same time, girl power.
And always down to help queer community. Always. She performs every year at Prides. Even back in the 90s when when it was like very not cool to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Just chef's kiss to Lil' Kim.
And while, like all rappers do, both, you know, they write songs about how they're the best, I felt like she was always still for uniting women in the rap game. Remember Ladies' Night?
Yeah. Well, maybe not behind the scenes. Maybe not uniting behind the scenes.
Well, not even uniting behind the scenes. She's all like, if you watch documentaries and stuff, and like other people talking about it, Lil' Kim was very much for women power. She always went against those who thought that they were like, they could not recognize what she bought and challenged everything that she did. That's who she ended up having beef with.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, she's always been very much like, we need to respect the people before. Mm-hmm. And the people she tends to get into it with are people who have come after her that then don't do the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay. I stand corrected.
So, and that's the thing about Nicki Minaj that I don't like is the fact that there's been all kinds of like, oh, did she or didn't she when it comes to her how she respected Little Kim. I know nowadays you're going to hear more about her say like she respects Little Kim and all of that stuff. But before, like they had that whole beef and everything, and it was just like, oh, you
Yeah.
why y'all not just get like y'all both Barbies, y'all both bad bitches. Why not work together? Why does there only have to be one? That's the thing. Well, that's a whole other subject about the whole. There can only be one black woman in the world for everything, but everybody else there can be multiple. There can be multiple best male rappers and multiple best punk rock stars.
We love a tie. We can have ties.
We love a tie.
We love a tie. I don't like wearing them, but I love a tie.
But for some reason, when it comes to women, specifically black women, there always only has to be one. Like everybody argued about the whole Queen Bee deal and Lil Kim came first and blah 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 blah. And it's us, the fans, that is the problem, and that causes the problem. Because we
love to turn people against each other.
We do, yeah. Because I just saw a thing where recently where Beyonce and Lil Kim had met and hugged and was talking and stuff, and they both greeted each other as Queen Bee. Hey Queen Bee, hey Queen Bee. That's what it should be about.
Yeah. The one that I look at the list here.
Sorry.
No.
To rant.
I mean, there's quite a few that should be much higher. Certainly Lil Kim.
Lil Kim, yes.
It is astonishing to me that Missy Elliott is ranked so low. Just in general. Because had there been no Missy Elliott, I don't know that music looks the way it does today. Mm-hmm. I mean, certainly music videos. But I mean, people like the Lady Gaga and all these, these other people who have kind of turned music videos into like a moment. I mean, that really is ode to Missy Elliott, to me. I mean, the Rain video, the super duper, the Sock It To Me video with Debrat where they were like Mega Man.
I mean, just literally every one of her videos have been like, this is an experience. Yeah.
And then, I mean, then the video is whatever. That's a separate category, but then you hear like the music and I would have not ranked her so low.
And then
in fact, I would have had her of these 6 women, because again, 6 out of 50. I think I would have put her as the top one. I think.
Yes, I would say definitely above Nicki Minaj for the simple fact that the amount of work that Missy Elliott has done behind the scenes, before she became an actual artist, helped change the genre of music as well. The song she has helped written and produce, her and Timberland, it literally, as you said, was genre changing. Yeah. That alone.
We love Aaliyah, and Aaliyah's best stuff was Missy Elliott and Timberland. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was Nelly Furtado. She got a lot of flack when she kind of changed her music from less folky, whatever, to slightly more hip-hop, R&B influence. But it was her best work, because okay. Yes, the behind the scenes, by far, I don't understand how. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the fucking scene from Mean Girls where they're walking to past the Dutch or whatever. Mm-hmm. That is, everyone in culture knows the riff to that song.
When you hear that song, the first thing you think about is Mean Girls.
Yeah, or just like walking slow down a hallway. Not like this. We're not sulking down the hallway, but okay. She should have been higher. Lil Kim should have been much higher. I go back and forth on Queen Latifah should have been higher for the. They all should have been higher. Actually, fuck it. All of them should have been higher. I said
There
what I
should
said.
have been. There should have been more on this list.
Should have been more on this list. That's okay. Okay, who's missing? Because I can think of, realistically, I can think of for sure 2 that I would put on this list. Probably, many more. First of all, Salt and Pepper was literally the first female rap group to have a platinum album.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the point, I think, of like Nicki Minaj being so high because she's kind of transcended, again, to go back to that Grammy thing, different genres. Like, she kind of is, I don't want to say mainstream, but kind of mainstream-ish. But they did it first.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom had that album, for God's sake. I mean...
I think one of the things that makes Nicki Minaj stand out more is the fact that a lot of her earliest success was done before she even got signed on to anyone.
That's true.
You know, she literally did all of this on her own.
Yeah. And again, I don't think she's bad. We don't think she's bad.
Right.
We're doing the thing that we're criticizing other people for, of like pitting people against each other, but Billboard wrote they wrote the damn list.
You know, it's not putting people, because like I would have to say, out of all of these people, I would the only 3 that I would probably listen to consistently, even today, would be more old school Nicki Minaj, Missy Elliott, and Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I don't personally, I know she has rap, but I don't classify Lauryn Hill as a rapper. Like, I don't. Has she rapped? Yes. I just don't feel like her whole genre was a rapper first and then a singer second. I felt she was more, or at least, I guess in the Fugees she was, when she was working with the Fugees, she was more rapper. But then when she came on her album,
it was very mixed. It was a very, like, because like doo-wop was, but then you had like Zion and some of the other songs that, yeah, I see what you mean.
Now, when she did rap, she was excellent at rapping. Like, she is like Missy Elliott, very good at rapping and very good at singing. Because if you listen to Missy Elliott can sing. Okay, let's not put it.
Oh, teary-eyed.
She can sing. She might not be a singer, but she can sing. She could do both. She can make a whole album that is just, you know, her singing and then her rapping. Like, there are very few people that can do that. That Missy Elliott, I'm looking at this list, Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott, Nicki Minaj, and Queen Latifah could if she wanted to. Because I was watching Living Single and all the episodes where she was singing and stuff, and I'm like...
Yeah. Well, she had that album in like 98-ish, with, I think the song was called like Paper. And it was a lot of like singing. So she was in Chicago. That. I mean, she can. Yeah, she can. It's just not... It was not her genre. It wasn't what you really thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would add Salt and Pepper, and I would for sure add, I know she's problematic, I would add Foxy Brown to the list. I mean, especially her first album, Il Nana, was really good. Who else? Is there anyone else that you would put in that list of like 50 best just ever?
Beyonce. What? I said it. She's been rapping since she was a Destiny's Child. Do you forget her MTV movie? What was it? Cleopatra, Carmen Jones, whatever it was. Was rapping in that. Go ahead. You know what? And I'm gonna play a clip of it right now. And boom. Okay, rapper of the year. Boom. When she came out with the Savage remix. Her album with her husband.
Oh, can we talk about, by the way, the cultural reset that was Jay-Z with hair? I don't know if I just hadn't seen it, but I was kind of like, who is that? Oh.
You know what bothers me about people in JC? Thank you.
Oh, God.
Because
did I say something bad?
No.
Okay.
I can... why everyone wants to make him seem like he's the ugliest man on the
No,
earth.
no, no, not that at all.
No, I don't get it. All his whole, I thought he was been very like he's not like he's not like the traditional Hollywood's Eurocentric black man things of beauty. He was a handsome. I always thought he was just a handsome man.
Yes.
I loved his lips, baby. Them lips.
Oh.
And then the thing is, the bitch is over 50.
Yeah.
He's not going to look like he's 20 anymore.
Well, and then, no. Like, I never thought that. It's kind of like when you see someone and they make a slight change and you go like, oh, you're hotter.
Yeah.
Like, there was an episode of Drag Race back when I still watched where Honey Davenport came back from being eliminated and she had all this facial hair and I was just like, oh. Hotter.
Yeah. And, there would probably be, if people were, writing in the comments, there would probably be people in the comments that would be like, oh, no, he's still ugly. He's still ugly. Like, there are people wanting her to get a divorce because apparently there's been a bunch of pictures going around with her and the guy, Chris, some white guy, Chris, that she done a lot of music with. And I guess.
Oh, Coldplay?
Yes.
Yeah, they're supposedly all really good friends. Like, they live
really
next door to each other or something.
But now people are trying to spin this narrative that...
Oh, her and him,
that she needs to leave Jay-Z and go with him because clearly he's in love with her and all this other stuff. And I'm just like...
People can be friends.
She loves her husband. She loves Jay-Z. Y'all keep talking about it's just a business transaction. The way that she looks at that man, the way that man looks at, yes, they had infidelity issues. That was their business.
Also, we don't know if they're open. I mean, that does exist nowadays. Open marriages exist. We don't know.
That is a very good point. But the thing is, they had a situation. They dealt with it the best way that they could. The only reason we knew about it was because somebody leaked the elevator footage. Otherwise, we would have never known about any of this stuff. But then again, we would never have gotten Lemonade.
Well.
And then, once again, she's a cultural phenomenon because everybody was doing Lemonade, even the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmitz. Once again, how do you have such a cultural impact, but you don't win out? Okay, let me stop. We're reverting back.
Okay, so you would add Beyonce to the list of best rappers of all time.
And I'm going to stick by it. And I'm going to stick by my decision till y'all prove me wrong. But seriously though, this whole list, it's if they would have done it, if they would have based it solely off of sales or some sort of objective measure, I don't think I would have the same issue with it as I do with it being kind of subjective. Mm-hmm. But then maybe it's so that we talk about it, since nobody talk. I mean, when's the last time we talked about Billboard magazine? I don't know. I just hate these kind of lists because it's like, for me, women are constantly having to fight for their place in everything, especially in a world where it's male dominated, and the rap genre for the longest while was very well male dominated. Like, even if you were female and rapper that can get in, they still dismiss you. You were nothing but a sexual being in their eyes.
Oh, and Debrat.
But you were nothing but a sexual being. So that's why I have such respect for people like MC Lyte and Queen Latifah and Lauryn Hill to that point, and Missy Elliott, because they were not... And let me finish before y'all start canceling me. They didn't have to... nor had any desire to focus their music, their videos, and everything around sex and sexuality. But at the same time, I give much, much credit to the Little Kims, the Foxy Browns, the Nicki Minaj, because they took that sexuality into their own and said, if I'm going to be viewed as a sexual being, it's going to be on my terms.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's going to dictate how I'm going to be viewed as sexually. I'm going to be the sexual being, and I'm not going to apologize for it. You talk about, oh my God, you write all these rap songs about these submissive women that all they want to get on their knees and S your D and blah 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 blah. No, you're gonna lick my pussy, okay? And then I'm gonna give you money to go shopping. Go on buy you a little something. I'm gonna be your sugar mama. So there's different sides of the coin, but like I respect that. And there were so many more women that have done that have helped pave that way that should be much higher on this list.
Yeah. Yeah. So the moral of the story is justice for Salt and Pepper.
Justice.
Foxy Brown. The brat.
Foxy.
And then the people who are on here who were too low.
All right. So our last topic. Last what's in our cup, because my cup is empty.
We're getting close, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to talk about the queers.
Hi, gay.
Hi. What is that other guy? Faggot. Ooh, queen. Queen.
Okay, so let's talk about some TV. We have to talk about The Real Friends of WeHo.
Okay. Who?
Okay, so apparently it is a show. The only reason people are apparently super shitty at it is that it's on right after Drag Race, right? Smart business thing. We're going to put this show on because, MTV is like, all right, we'll give the queer people 3 hours on a Friday night. And then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled, ridiculousness marathons. But people were really shitty that it turned Drag Race from 90 minutes into an hour, which I don't necessarily have an issue with, because people are like, oh, you can't see anything, and the runways are so fast. And I'm like, y'all edited the show. Anyway. And it used to be an hour anyway. Whatever. My issue, and not about the cast, because I don't know most of them, is, did we ask for this? Because they kept talking about, well, everyone loved the A-list.
Who?
And I was just like, did we?
Who?
I didn't know anyone who liked the A-list.
Who is this everyone?
Yeah, I don't know. And then sort of the expectation of sort of the people on it, from what you can see on the things they post on social media, is if you don't watch this, you don't support your own community. And I think in 2023, we are past having to watch a show or movie solely because it is queer-oriented, and we are now in the realm where we can watch good things. It's not 2007 when the only thing we could watch was Boy Meets Boy on Bravo. Or another gay movie, which, though campy and fun, when you really look at it, not that good of a movie. Remember when we watched that the first time, when you had to leave the room. Jesus, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time. Probably a couple years ago. We were in our early 20s,
I was just a teenager. I don't know.
The fetus.
But it was the same thing with Bros. Like, people were like, you're not supporting the community because you didn't like Bros. And I'm like, no, it was a bad movie. The Real Friends of WeHo, you're not supporting it. No, it's a bad show. I don't want to watch. I don't watch The Housewives. Why the fuck would I watch The Gay Housewives?
I don't know what this trend is these days. And this is kind of a backhanded comment to other things that we'll be discussing in later videos. But I swear, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't watch something, you're not supporting the gays. If you do watch or play something, you're not supporting whatever community. Or you are supporting other things. And it's just like, where does the line get drawn? Where does the line get drawn? And I say that not as a thing of it's a right and wrong deal, but there just seems to be a lot of, if I don't agree with this particular thing, that I'm automatically, despite the fact that I could spend my whole life fighting for a certain community, marches and putting together, organizations and town hall meetings and literally being thrown in jail and all of the stuff. But the moment I do or don't, that goes against what other people think I should do or don't, it literally just wipes out all of that stuff. And in this situation with the WeHo thingy, I don't even, like you said, I don't even watch the Real Housewives of things.
No.
So I don't know who the F is asking this. And as someone had pointed out, the reason why people watched Real Housewives and all that stuff is because these people were, for the most part, friends or known each other beforehand. And they were all doing stuff, like working together to create, there was a mission or something that was going on within the storyline. These, from what the people in the show actually said, some of them, they didn't even meet until the day they got onto the set.
Oh,
but we're being advertised as these are all friends.
Look at these friends. And that's the thing, we've talked about this before. I've watched reality TV since single digit of the real world. Like, before it was a genre. Mm-hmm. I understand keenly that I am watching an edited, produced product. I at least want to have the suspension of disbelief that what I'm watching could be real. Not this bullshit of, let's take 6 people, 2 of which you know, and act like they're... I mean, some of them don't...
because they're...
And I don't care, like, the problematic people. Mm. You know, because a lot of the hate against that one person is racially biased. Certainly, they have done things to earn some of that hate. So it's not scot-free on both sides. But just, we didn't ask for this. And then they told one of the people in the show, well, it's going to be on Netflix. And it's going to be essentially the A-list West Hollywood. And then all of a sudden, and that was what the person agreed to, and then it turned into, oh, we're going to rake in more money and more eyes if we put it on right after Drag Race. So again, it's just another corporation trying to get money out of the fucking queer community. Mm-hmm. So...
I didn't ask for it. I had no desire to...
No!
Like, I'm over the whole concept of cat shows about catty people living together and let's see how they all work out, because you know there's going to be drama. They're going to push drama. It's not real. It's not real. I would rather watch a actual TV show. Like maybe a mockumentary. I could do a mockumentary about a queer... Like, what's that one with Kevin Hart? The Real Husbands? Yeah, I think it's like The Real Husbands of Hollywood.
But then there's also like The Hot Wives.
The Hot Wives.
The funniest fucking show we've ever seen.
Now, if you wanted to do that with the queer, with the queers,
I would watch it.
I would watch the shit out of that.
It'd be entertaining. It'd be funny. It'd probably be a little bit of like that humor of like, oh, if I laugh at this, I'm a bad person, but it's really funny.
And not only that, but it was the tantrums that were thrown after that. Once they realized that, you know, people were not watching them and people were recording videos where you were, like the people that were in the show was creating videos or sending out messages and stuff where they were condemning the queers for not supporting them. And I'm just like...
Make a better show.
This isn't helping.
No, right. It's very, you know, it's very gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. You know, the gaslightery of it all. I don't know.
Just queer shows in general. I'm having a lot of issues. I am finding as I continue to get older and I continue to witness things and I continue to what I believe is critically think about what I'm viewing and what I'm consuming as far as social media. And when it comes to the LGBTQ shows, TV shows, and just inclusion in general, there are moments where I have to step back and just be like, why? 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 For instance, I don't know if anybody has seen it, but I sent it to you. They're coming out with a prequel to Grease.
Oh my God.
That...
Everything I hate in a show. I mean, my God.
The main things that I was like not happy with was I get inclusion. I get wanting to have representation there. But when you're setting it in a time period where there was no representation like the one that you're trying to put forward, you've lost all credibility with me. Like, I've seen the second movie, Grease 2, maybe once, maybe twice. My brother, God rest his soul, that was his favorite movie, and him and I used to get into arguments.
Grease 2?
Yes. Him and I used to get into arguments because he said it was better than Grease 1. Joshua, I love you, but no. But Grease, the original Grease, granted, they were all in their 30s. But
Yeah.
there was never a black person, never a person of color. Period.
Do you think it's better for shows to be true to the historical time that they're telling, or do you think it's better for shows to be inclusive when it comes to casting?
I would rather it be true because it erases. It kind of to me. Let me say, make sure to say to me. We're already in a point where we are trying to erase critical race theory and trying to wash away Black history and all of that stuff.
Can the state of Florida just go away now?
And to see, the thing is, where they succeed, we've seen this, where they succeed, other states will start emulating it, and then we're literally going backwards.
Yeah.
Literally going backwards. And the thing is, when you start trying to, when you're rewriting history for real, and now you're going into the fantasy world and trying to say, see, that critical race theory wasn't great because we're making shows about the 50s and the 40s and 50s and 60s where black and queer and trans were all getting along and singing songs
Everything
together.
Was great, you guys.
Everything was great.
We
and
fixed it.
And it's like,
right. No, that's not how it was.
no, that wasn't shit how
But
it
like,
was.
I used to think that about when they would edit or remove like the cartoons that were around, like the Looney Tunes and the Disney shows back in the day that were
right.
a little problematic. Part of me is like, well, good, because I don't think we need to continue that narrative. But also, the shit happened.
Right.
I think it's important to tell people, like, yeah, Disney was super racist. Looney Tunes used to be super racist. Like, let's not curate this to make it seem like these were always great things.
Right.
But I also don't know that, you know, on Channel 8, we need to show, like, here's that one cartoon with the crows.
To me, there's a difference between these things have already been created. They've already been consumed. We know about them, so therefore we can put them into situations where if you want to view them for educational purposes,
Okay.
they are available for educational purpose. They're not something that that needs to be shown because they're not, you know, it's not like a movie like Roots where it's, or Color Purple, where it's telling a story that involves, like, you know, all these racial undertones and sexist undertones and all of that stuff. These were cartoons meant to bring joy and happiness and laughter that were racially motivated and so on and so on. That's different. So for me, putting that in a situation where, okay, we're pulling these off the air. If you want to have an education on them, here's where you can access them for educational purposes. That to me is different than going back and retelling stories.
Rewriting history.
And then talking about, everything was sunshine and roses. See?
It was all great.
It was all great.
Everything was great.
That Black history they're talking about, no, that didn't happen. Because, see, we're telling a story of how we feel that it was. No, that's not how history works.
When you get compared to Eric Cartman on South Park telling people that wars didn't happen and they just got invited for punch and pie, I mean, that should tell you about the side of history that you're on.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And there are already school literature that has been found in different schools around the United States, where they talk about when the Pilgrims came to America and they agreed with the people that they were going to move over there, and then they would take over this.
Yeah, they agreed. Yeah, I tell you what, you want to see something real scary. You want to see something? Go to Half Price Books. Love it. Go to Half Price Books. Take lots of money. Buy all the shit. Half Price Books, great. But go to the homeschool aisle, and you will see the homeschool science books that are like, the Earth is 2,000 years old, and there were no dinosaurs, there was only Jesus, and like, you want to see some shit, you go there.
And the sad thing is, if certain governors and politicians and all that stuff had their way, that would be what is taught in schools all across America.
Oh yeah, I think it's fine to teach creationism if we're talking about history or philosophy. Just don't teach it in science.
So that leads us back. So that leads us back to, or at least leads me back to the whole idea. So when it comes to LGBTQ shows, like,
why should we be a community that we have to watch something because it's
just because it is?
Just because it is. I mean,
especially if it's not good.
We're past that. I mean, you know, at least this was, they didn't, like, MTV didn't go, all right, it's Pride Month. We're going to go and we're going to make this shitty ass show that we can produce for $100, and then we're going to market it and say Happy Pride from MTV.
And they would.
Because they will. and people would watch it, and I'm just as guilty of buying the Pride shit at like Target. But I think we're done. We're done. I'm done. Were we done? Are you done?
No, I'm not done. Well, I'm done with that whole situation, but I will say that, like...
Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't done, but...
I would be glad, I would be happy when we get to a point where in media, we are not telling, we're telling LGBT or black or women stories without it being the main focal point of that, we're there. We're there, just like everybody else. Just like every straight white couple.
Yeah.
We're there. I want to see a story. I'm trying to think if there's any show, and if there are some shows down below, list down. But are there shows that you just happen to have queer character because they're queer?
Because they are.
They just happen to be queer, but they're just a part of everyday. Because I'm tired of the trauma and the drama. Like, everything doesn't have to be dramatic. Where are my superhero queers that are actually out there doing and not being taken out within the first episode?
I think it's going to be interesting, however, Disney and the MCU handle Wiccan, because that would be the first one that kind of fits into the narrative that they're telling. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know that Disney will pull the trigger, because if they keep him a little kid, we certainly don't want to sexualize kids.
No,
which he's not in the comic. He's a 18-year-old.
18,
young
19,
adult.
Yeah.
Maybe they did this shit with Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, where they were like, it's the first female superhero movie, and I was like, no, it's a movie about superheroes who are arguably the physically strongest of their respective universes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Also, video game. I mean, you're right. Everything's drama or trauma, or everyone is the funny neighbor, or we're the caricature. I liked Will and Grace. I don't mind a caricature unless that's the only options we have. Mm-hmm. And I remember you felt this way about Titus, and kind of that sort of portrayal of especially queer people of color.
So the thing,
queer males of color, excuse me.
The thing because I went back and I started watching the show again, and the thing that I can appreciate about Kimmy Schmidt and the Titus character, while for a while I was, oh my God, not every black gay man is, because I may be, because everybody always called me Titus, but not every queer black male identify,
called you Titus. I mean, everyone.
Well, I was also, for the older generation, I was Hollywood from the Mannequin movies. Yes, I got called Hollywood from the Mannequin movies. And then if anybody remembers Revenge of the Nerds, the movie Revenge of the Nerds, I was Lamar.
There was another one that you were too.
Every queer black character that has been in a lot of movies generally have always been the outlandish, over feminine, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But what I do have to say, and even looking back at things like Hollywood and Revenge of the Nerds and Titus and stuff, is that it was never mentioned this person is queer, and it was never a subject of heartache or trauma based around it. It was Lamar just happened to be gay, and he was in the nerd's house. Hollywood just happened to be a queer designer, outlandish designer. I mean, technically, none of them have ever stated that they were queer. We just assumed they were queer because of their behavior. Number one, but it was never any oh my God, that person's gay, get him, or oh, how's it feel being gay? It was just they were just there. And even in Kimmy Schmidt, there were subplots around him having boyfriends and stuff like that, but there was never any direct storyline, related to his queerness. It was just he was there. He was just fabulous. A part of him. Yeah. It was just a part, and that's what I'm talking about. I want to see when it comes to queer representation.
And again, it was funny. It was good, and I don't think that we should be above a caricature.
No.
I think that that's funny.
And it's true life for people. It is. That's how people. There are queer men who that is their life.
I've seen you in overall shucking corn. I mean, from that one episode where.
And Lord knows, I am quick to start singing or doing random stuff. And
the only thing missing from that to make it a true portrayal of your life was the blanket dress.
I do love my blanket dresses. I used to walk out in my blanket dresses, throwing it around like I was on a runway. I mean, I was.
But yeah, I mean, again, watch it if you want to. Don't watch it if you don't want to. But don't let anyone convince you to watch a show because if you don't, it makes you a bad person. I don't know. It's different than doing something with negative consequences because you want to, as opposed to doing something that could be positive because you're being coerced into it.
Yeah. And I'm definitely not watching the WeHo just because I
no.
Or Bros. I just
no. Although I did, or I would be interested to watch that one movie with Jim Parsons. It actually looks somewhat cute, and looks like it has a point, as opposed to, again, hi gay. We'll see.
I will see. For
I'll
you.
read a review.
For me, I'm all over the place when it comes to my thoughts on queer movies and stuff like that. And I'm just, at this point in my life, I don't watch a lot of queer-centric TVs or movies because they tend to focus on harmful stereotypes if their character is not white, or they're just very white-centric, and I don't have anything, like, other than the fact that we're gay, I don't have anything. I'm like, your struggle, I don't know your struggles. You're up here complaining about how you can't get a latte, and I'm complaining that I can't get a house in the area that I want because I'm black. So
the other thing with like queer as folk, like, yes, some of us have been high on poppers and gone to the bathhouse. However, we also have other struggles that we don't talk about.
What? Was it more than 5?
No.
Moving on.
No.
So we are now an hour and 20 minutes.
We did a short one. Yeah.
I love how we said it live. We're going to try to keep these under 30 minutes. An hour and a half later. We did.
We had a lot to say.
And a lot of the stuff we could definitely go on and on about.
And on the plus side, everyone, we talked out the whole Beyonce thing, so Michael will never bring it up again.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Yes. See, this is why people call me Titus. But definitely, so we will definitely be coming back for our next episode because there's a whole list.
A whole list of stuff still. We got a whole list. We got to talk about movies. We got to talk about spring. We got to talk about shows, and we got to talk about our new queen, Megan. So if you're interested in that, we will see you soon. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment that someone will read, find us on social media, or if you're lucky, find me on Grindr.
And don't forget to check out some of our videos that'll be displayed here, or wherever I decide to put it at when I go to edit.
Oh, there's one down there.
Oh. Don't nobody go down there, trust me.
Bye!